Welcome to the No Limits Podcast, where limits do not exist, where you can create cash flow, equity, and real freedom with the power of real estate.
3, 4. Now, we will begin.
Welcome to the Dojo. This is Todd Toback, and welcome to the No Limits Real Estate Investing Podcast. This is the third episode in a 4-part series on marketing, and this show is all about helping you make more money in real estate, whether you're just getting started and trying to do that first deal, or you've done a few and now you're trying to expand and build a team. This show is for you. Now, I'm going to reiterate what I've said on every single episode of this series, and that is the 4 most important things about marketing. Number 1 is that it is the lifeblood of your business. It is so important. Without it, you've got nothing. So forget everything else and say, how do I market so I can get more leads, so I can get on the phone with those leads and sell and acquire that property at a price that I can make a profit? And how do I sell that and make a ton of money or keep it and build long-term wealth? That is all that you need to make money in real estate. So remember, it all starts with marketing. Next, pick one marketing channel when you're first getting started. Focus on it, tweak it, spend money on it, invest on it, go big, okay, and make it happen. This is the first analogy that I'm going to use in this series. But picture that you're trying to make a big jump, right? You're trying to, let's say, jump over a creek, and you don't want to get your feet wet, right, with your shoes, right? I remember being on a backpacking trip with one of my buddies, Micah, and I was trying to jump over this creek, and I saw Micah go, and he kind of went halfway, right? He didn't want to go all out and look foolish. And what happened was Micah went halfway, and guess what? He didn't get to the other side. Both his feet got wet. His socks were soaked, and he spent the rest of that day in the backpacking trip with wet shoes and wet socks, okay? Me, watching that, I just said, I backed up and I started running with my backpack, and I ran, and I was like, rah! And I jumped as far as I could, went all in, and got over that creek, right? Mostly because I saw what Micah did. He went halfway and actually got burnt. And so sometimes you're worse off going halfway than all out. And so I think a lot of people do that in marketing, right? They spread themselves so thin and go halfway and are tentative, and they just never focus on that one to see massive results. You could just do one of these marketing channels and literally make $1 million a year in this business. So I want to reiterate, focus on one, commit, work every lead like your life depends on it. Next, have a regular schedule, right? Emotion should not play a part in this, right? Just like you want to work out every 3 or 4 days, have a schedule. When you do that, and when you market when you don't feel like it, guess what? You're going to see results. Just like you have to work out when you don't feel like it. If you want steady deals, if you don't want to be on a roller coaster, if you want money coming in month after month after month after month, and you don't want up and down months, okay, stick to a schedule and commit to it. Get it on a Google spreadsheet, put it down every single week of the year, and decide what you're going to do. Lastly, you got to learn how to sell. And what I mean by selling, I mean communicate, persuade, right? Move somebody. And I talk a lot about on this podcast and the No Limit selling system and the techniques. If you want to know free stuff, it's all over the site. If you want to buy our system, go to nolimitsalesystem.com, or you want to find more about that. But you got to market, okay? And you got to learn how to convert those leads. Now, the first 2 episodes in this series, one was about direct mail. The next one was SMS. This one is going to be especially exciting for me because no matter where you are financially, or no matter how busy you are with a job, you're going to be able to find a way to make this work. Okay, and this all about is forming joint venture partnerships. I love joint venture partnerships. I've used them in so many different ways. I've used joint venture partnerships to acquire mobile home parks. I've used them to acquire apartment buildings. I use joint venture partnerships to fund marketing. I've used joint venture partnerships to get leads from people. And so today I'm going to talk about using joint venture partnerships to get leads and deals from other people without spending money. Or if you're the guy or the gal with money, but you don't have time, I'm going to show you how to leverage hungry, sales-driven, absolute money hungry maniacs to go find deals for you, and you could both win in the process. So let's pretend right now that you've been listening to this podcast and you have learned to talk to motivated sellers, and you have maybe done a deal or two or haven't, but you've practiced and you are just ready, but you just don't have any money for leads. Or you're in business and you want to add a marketing channel, but you just don't want to take on that infrastructure. So for me, for example, we necessarily don't want to take on cold calling, which is a marketing channel in-house. So for us, we actually joint venture with another company who does cold calling. So I don't have to look for cold callers. I don't have to train for cold callers. I don't have to vet leads. Every single day, those leads are sent over to us through our database. And we answer the phone, we meet with the seller, we lock it up, and we split that deal 50-50. Okay, the advantage of this is that we have no marketing costs. We don't have to take on any more infrastructure, no more systems or any of that. The disadvantage is that we split the deal 50-50. Now, for us, we don't mind splitting the deal 50-50, right? We have no overhead associated with that. And really, financially, we maybe make less on that deal, but the margin on that is not worth the extra overhead for us, right? There are a lot of people out there who are cold calling. I'm going to talk about that in the next episode here. But you can absolutely joint venture. You can also joint venture people who are really good at pay-per-click marketing, right? People who are on and this is a whole nother marketing channel. You could do this yourself, but there are people who just love to generate leads. So pay-per-click people who are targeting certain markets, and they get leads every single day. They don't know how to close. They don't know how to talk to people. They don't understand how to nurture those leads. They don't understand how to get commitments from people and move people, right? You now can use that skill, that value. They could send you the lead. You could answer the phone. You can meet with the seller, lock it up, and do the deal and split it with them 50-50. How awesome is that, right? We've done that in our business, okay? You also can joint venture with real estate agents who have deals, okay? And you also can joint venture with anyone who has any kind of marketing channel out there who does not have the confidence to lock up deals. I could tell you that I've had bird dogs in my market who have been door knockers, who they have the guts to go and knock on a door to make that happen, but they just don't know how to close the seller. They're nervous about what to say. They don't know how low they should go. They don't know how high they should go. They don't know the contract. They don't know how to get it closed. And they need you to take it to the finish line. I can tell you that joint venture partners are one of the best things that I have ever experienced in my business. And my advice to you is go out and start to form these right away. If it's not the marketing channel that you're going to be implementing now, at least start these relationships. Get your name out there, right? Be in Facebook groups. Let people know what you do, right? And when the time comes, people are going to call you. So for us, we get people calling us all the time. We do business here in San Diego. We also do business in Florida. And we get people just from our podcast all the time saying, how can I send you leads, right? I want to partner. And we partner with students all the time, right? They send us leads. Our acquisition specialist lock them up. We split the deal 50-50, make it happen. By the way, if you want to learn how to joint venture with us and you're there's actually 3 ways that you could joint venture with us. If you are wholesaling in San Diego or South Florida, you can email us at support@nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com if you want to joint venture with us. Also, I buy mobile home parks nationwide. So if you actually have deals and you want to wholesale those to me, email me, support@nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com. You could wholesale that deal to me and joint venture with me and earn a fat assignment fee. So be on the lookout for mobile home parks. I love them. Or if you are in those areas and you want to joint venture with me, I would love to work with you. Now, you see how that worked? You can do that too, and you can work both sides of the equation. Now, if you're on this podcast and you're like, wow, I've got the cash, right? I've got a job. I'm making 6 figures, but I don't have time to answer the phone. I don't want to meet with motivated sellers. I can tell you right now, there's someone out there who's willing to meet with the seller right now. They are so hungry to make that happen. They just need someone to believe in them and throw some cash in the marketing. And direct mail is especially effective with that if you can partner with someone with direct mail. So here are my recommendations for joint venture partnerships. Number 1, you've got to make something that's going to work long-term for both parties, right? So I've seen people try to do an 80-20 split. on leads typically doesn't work, right? You have to have a split that's going to work. So I like 50-50 as long as someone is generating quality leads. So the last podcast that I did was on texting. And if someone is just going to text for someone in a market and that's the only thing they're going to do, a 50-50 split probably isn't going to work because there's a lot of screening and a lot of work from the acquisition specialist that's going to have to happen, right? On a direct mail or a cold calling type of marketing, that would be better. And so make sure that the split is equitable. And so one trick that I like to have is address the elephant in the room. Calculate how much it's going to cost you per deal and talk to your joint venture partner about these costs, and then talk about time and equal value exchange and what this looks like 6 months down the line, a year down the line. Don't be scared of the answer. Address all the problems, have a bond, create trust, right? And once you start, here's a couple of hacks. Number one, give each other access to each other's databases on where those leads are going. You want to create transparency and communication. Number two is that you want a weekly meeting. It could be either on a Zoom and have that weekly meeting, or you can send a weekly video recording of a screenshot of the leads that you're working and what's hot and what's not. So we love to use a tool called Loom, 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 and Loom actually lets you record directly from your screen, and you can talk about the leads, and then a link will be directly copy and paste that and then send that to your joint venture partner. So build that trust and have a lot of communication. The next thing that you should do is you need to be closing big deals. Okay. And I really, really mean this. You want to close big deals. If you're closing $10,000 wholesale deals, this is not going to work. Because if you're spending $2,500 on marketing for a deal and you're splitting a $10,000 check, right, that's going to be $3,200 each. And one of you is going to burn out quickly. So you want to be targeting $15,000, $20,000, $25,000, $50,000, $100,000 deals so that there is a lot of meat on the bone and everybody feels like this is worth my time. If you're on the acquisition side in a joint venture partnership and you're doing all the work and you're making $3,000 a deal, I can tell you're going to be broke and you're going to hate this business. So make sure you're doing big deals. I talk a lot about this in the No Limit Selling System. If you don't have it, I recommend you buy it, or you can listen to the podcast and get all the free information. But make sure, and again, close big deals. Expand your mind. One of the ways that you can do this, right, is say affirmations. So for me, I would say something like, I do $50,000 deals. I'm not scared to lose a deal. I negotiate hard with sellers. I sell my properties for top dollar. I'm not in a rush to sell my deal, right? I have something of value. I'll take my time until I get top dollar. And say that to yourself, write it, believe it, right? And when you have a property, we're in a hot market right now. Make a lot of money, please. And your joint venture partner will thank you. Okay. Obviously, you want to have a ton of integrity with your joint venture partners, and you want them to have a ton of integrity with you. I'm not going to touch too much on that. You should know what that means. So you may say, Todd, how do I find these joint venture partners? Right? Well, you should be out there. You should not be a secret. If you're looking for a money partner, tell someone what you do, right? Say, I go out there and meet with motivated sellers. I study sales. I study acquisition. I've got phenomenal mentors. I'm a student of the No Limit Selling System, and I am ready to lock up deals. I need a partner, right? Let them know. Go in those Facebook groups and let people know what you do. Two, you could go locally in your town, right? There's a lot of business people who have money who need a place to put it and say, hey, listen, I'm looking for a partner who wants to help expand the business, right? This does not mean that you have to make them a 50-50 partner, but you can make them a 50-50 partner in this marketing and explain that, right? 50-50 in one part of the business does not mean 50-50 in all parts of the business. Now, if you eventually decide to take on a partner, that's okay, right? But just know that you don't have to do that, right? You can have 50-50 in one section of the business. That's very, very important. And before you get into some partnerships with this, just understand, again, it does not have to be the entire business, and set those expectations. All right. So this is the 3rd-part series. And again, I love this because it gives you no excuse, right? If you need money, it's out there. If you need talent and horsepower, it's out there. You can make this happen. All right. The first part was on direct mail. The second was on SMS texting. The third is on joint ventures. The next, I'm going to talk about cold calling. If you want to go out and get a deal today, I'm going to touch on that. But remember, marketing is the lifeblood of your business. Pick a channel, have a regular schedule, eliminate emotion. Don't pivot unless you're not getting phone calls, people raising their hands. And remember, you got to learn how to sell. All right. So stay tuned for the last episode in this series. But remember, do me a favor, share the show with someone who needs to hear it. Copy and paste the link to the show and text the 3 to 5 of your closest real estate associates. And I'll talk to you on part 4 of the series.